Hey everyone, so this is the dialogue, and I am looking at James Hewitt and his interview about Princess Diana, the final episode or final story. So this is a few years old, mind you. It was while she was alive, but it gives you an insight as to how he feels about the breakup. So let's have a look.
During this time, when the pressure from the media was at a peak, the Princess of Wales walked away. I was becoming a problem.
So from the get-go, he shifted in his seat. It means he's very uncomfortable talking about this. You can even just see from his eyes, he's very sad. He has pursed lips, and so it seems that he's quite... Not only is he sad, there is a degree of can't believe it and regret.
I was no longer...
Even there, you could see him purse his mouth and push it forward. Jaw goes forward, and that's a sense of contempt there.
the saviour. I was the problem.
Right there, there's perfect contempt right there. So Princess Diana didn't see him any longer as a saviour, but saw him as a threat, and she did actually leave the relationship.
And when there's a problem, you don't want to stick with it, do you? I felt that at least a modicum of support, which I had given her in the years past, could have been given to me. But no, I was left to get on with it as best I could myself.
And there you go, contempt as well. Now, as you can see, he's looking into his memory, so he isn't constructing this. It's assumed that he's a right-handed man, however. So he really is actually coming from the memory.
Which is a daunting and horrifying realization of how two people in such relationship can
regret, contempt,
become so distant. It's popular belief. I didn't kiss and tell. It was...
So let's have a look at that again. He didn't kiss and tell.
I didn't kiss and tell.
Okay, so he's raising his eyebrows, which in a subconscious way he's saying, I didn't do this. He did nod his head as he said that he didn't tell. Let's have a look again.
I didn't kiss and tell.
So he nodded when he said he didn't kiss and tell, which could mean that he actually did kiss and tell. Having said that, his eyes are open, which means he's, in a way, a subconscious way, he's saying, I've got nothing to hide here.
It was not my book. I did not write it. I have not been paid for writing a book.
So everything is quite congruent with what he's saying.
I think that you must understand that at the time that book was being written, it was against a backdrop of the Prince of Wales having a book written about him and divulging certain informations therein. It was at the time where there was a lot of rubbish being written about me, and there were great many rumours going about of a book being written, or several books being written. It was like a feeding frenzy at the time.
I adored him. Yes, I was in love with him, but I was very let down.
I was completely shocked.
Contempt.
When she said that. And
regret.
And I didn't really know what to think. Everything I'd done, although I might not have done the right thing at times, was certainly not with a view of letting her down.
So even though there's a number of times where he is showing contempt, he is still, feeling sorry for himself and feeling like the victim in this story.
And I tried my damnedest to prevent the situation from being known, and
again, contempt.
And unfortunately it was, and it was completely out of my control.
Which is basically quite true. Books were written about him and Lady Diana without his knowledge, and some with his knowledge. So it was basically let out of the bag, the cat out of the bag, and his life was exposed, and so was Lady Di's.
It's very difficult to explain the
So deep swallow, contempt, regret.
Try and absorb that much attention, really, let alone hate.
And so he had wide eyes again, so he's trying to say, look, I've got nothing to hide, that he had received a lot of hate from the public.
It's very difficult to put into words how that affects one.
And he's definitely in memory.
I think I felt extremely low,
and when he said he felt extremely low, his head bowed down to indicate he did feel low.
And very close to the end of my tether.
And so there is actually quite a lot of anger you can see in his jawline. He licks his lips a lot, which means he's dry. He has a dry mouth. That can indicate anger. It can indicate nervousness. And of course he's in memory, so it's not a great time for him to look back and see where he's at today. And when I get my hands on the new tape of James Hewitt talking about him not being the father of Prince Harry, then I will put that video up as soon as I can. However, the actual original video has not yet been released in other countries besides Australia, and it's hard to get a hold of. However, I will be looking at that one. Thanks for watching the dialogue. Keep tuned.